come in like the gift bag when you did the sumo match and shit, or?
No, just I got it out, just laying around. Just wanted to show you guys that I'm just living kind of lavish right now.
Oh man, it's always good to catch up with you.
Yeah, man, I just got in from training, so got to get comfortable.
It's crazy to think it's been almost a year since you were on what was at the time the second episode of this podcast.
Really? It's been that long?
It's been that long. Yeah, it's been like 10, 11 months.
Time flies.
I know, man. So much has happened. So you mentioned, just wrapping up training. 4 years. It's going to be here coming up in April, right?
Yeah. Training is good, man. I feel great. I'm like 218, 219 right now, which is the lowest I've ever been getting ready for a fight. My cardio isn't bad at all. I'm running. I'm getting in my rounds. Today was the first time I did 4 rounds of sparring, which, I've been doing 3, and I've just, got to build yourself up. And I'm still wrestling, grappling, sparring. I'm doing my usual thing, man. I know that, I understand that I'm older, so I have to take my time. I'm not trying to rush it like I was when I was, 32, 33 years old. But it's good. Everything's going good.
I've heard a lot of people talking about, hey, I'm getting away from sparring, right? It's kind of, I don't know if it's like the sexy thing to say. And I guess I can understand the logic behind it, right? You get so many shots to the head, but you can't duplicate getting ready for physical combat without actually practicing physical combat.
Yeah. Right now I spar once a week, and I get in my work, while I'm training other ways. That way, I don't take as many headshots. I don't get hit much in training anyway. When you're at a certain level, you just shouldn't get, I believe you shouldn't get hit that much if you're at a certain level, Mm-hmm. My teammates are great, but whenever we spar, we spar. So they don't just run in on me like they probably do each other,
Yeah.
They definitely respect me, and I respect them too. I don't try and take them out, but I will go hard, But everything's good. Everything's safe. I haven't had any injuries, If I had an injury, it was more like, let me see, my tired. That's about deep as it gets for me. My elbow may be tired. I mean, yeah, nothing's hurting. Nothing's hurting, dude. Like everything's clicking, everything's going pretty good for me, and I have no complaints about it. None.
That's awesome. Are you guys going to be able to have fans at the arena?
No.
Not yet?
Nope. Not yet. And I'm glad. I'm actually glad because, man, this, the virus is real. It's very real, and I'm glad that the organization is thinking of its fighters and its employees and stuff instead of thinking of, the money behind it if the fans get to come around, Why put, their athletes in that situation, If, other organizations want to do that, that's fine, but I'm glad at least Bellator is not doing that, and I hope they don't do it for a while because, I've seen what that virus can do to people, and it's real. So I have to thank Bellator for protecting us, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever, I imagine you haven't had a fight in your career where it's been empty like that. Am I wrong?
No, I've never fought in an empty arena. It'll be very different for me, But it also it could be a good thing. Just because it's different doesn't mean that it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
I'll probably focus more because I don't have the crowd behind me, because you can get gassed up when you hear the crowd, chanting and screaming and all of that stuff. So it may be different. I can pay attention to my coaches more. I can hear them speak to me now.
Yeah.
So and I could before, but obviously now it's a different story. I get to hear them actually loud and clear instead of hearing, you know, Joe Schmo on the other side of the octagon screaming, you know, beat his ass or, you know, smash his face. You know, I don't have to hear that now.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm kind of glad that, you know, we get to go in there and do our thing, because to me, whenever it's that quiet, it sounds better, because when you're watching it from home, you can hear those kicks, you can hear those punches. You know what I mean? It's brutal. It's a lot. Now people understand how tough it is and how hard it is. You know, and it's loud. So it's not like you. And just imagine the ones that you hear with the crowd still screaming. It sounds probably 1,000 times worse now.
Mm.
So, you know, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I mean, that was exactly where my head was going. Being that, I mean, you've got a ton of experience under your belt. It's certainly, I'm sure, going to be a familiar feeling, albeit a little bit different. I'm like, you know, I wonder if that lack of a crowd will actually be a benefit to you, being that it's your first fight back, where you don't have to deal with all of that other crap. It's just like I can go in there and focus on what my training's been and just get the job done, because it's not going to be too big of a moment. I think some guys probably coming in out of the, you know, their first fight, they need that crowd to get themselves hyped. You know what I mean? But it's just like, you've been there before. You know, it may actually calm you down to a place where you can focus in the right way. But
Yeah, I mean, either way, I'm gonna punch you with a crowd or no crowd. You know what I mean? So I do appreciate the fans being there. You know, I do love, you know, showing my talents, you know, to the crowd and getting them excited. You know, but right now, to me, it's about us and what, you know, we can do and what we have to offer without all of that, so people can really see and pay attention to what we do.
so I know you're doing a lot of stuff outside of the ring as well. You know,
Yeah.
obviously with Aktion Coffee, I know you've got the consulting business as well. You know, how is that managing business with the fight business? And at what, I mean, is this whole thing, is that something that you've always been aware of throughout your career? Or is this something, as you've gotten older, kind of more mature and wiser about, that you've put more of a focus behind kind of building out Rumble as a brand and as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, to sustain yourself when the fighting career is over?
Um, I I've always wanted to be in business. I've always wanted to be in business. Nobody can say they haven't wanted to be a boss at some point in their life. You know, everybody that has a job has always said, "Man, I wish I could be my own boss," or something. You know, the same thing. You know, they had the same mentality I had. They said the same thing I said. Had the same thoughts I had. Um, I'm I saw an opportunity and I guess I took it. You know, I've been very blessed to have met, you know, you and other people in business and developed a good relationship with them. And I'm very blessed that people still, you know, they still trust me, they still believe in me, and they know that I'm not just some little punk trying to take advantage of them. Like, I'm willing to work and make it happen, you know, and willing to work with people, you know, as long as it's for the right cause. So having an opportunity to, you know, work with, you know, you and Aktion and my guys with Rumbletime Consultants, and, you know, Julie and I starting Rumbletime Media. You know, we have with the cannabis stuff, we have Rumbletime Holdings. So we have a lot of stuff going on, and you know, I never imagined it would be in the line of work that it is now. You know, I just imagine it would be anything but that. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that I have these opportunities, man, I'm truly blessed and happy that, you know, I've taken the chance to actually grow as an individual and do things that can set my future up to be very, very bright and lucrative. I
Mhm.
should say that.
Would you ever consider, or do you have a passion for when the fighting's over, staying involved in that game, and whether it be as a coach or, in
I
that type
won't
of
coach.
capacity, or?
I won't coach. I know I won't coach. I don't have the patience. I really have zero patience when it comes to teaching people like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least not beginners. I don't have beginners. I'll take somebody who is a little seasoned already and then try and critique them and make them better. You know what I mean? But I can't go from bottom and work my way up. Because I'll get mad because I'm like, yo, I just showed you how to kick 20 times. You still
So
got it wrong.
that's
You know?
interesting. Yeah. I mean, is that a patience thing? And do you notice that
It is.
across like all aspects of your life? Or is part of that too, because like you hear guys like Michael Jordan too, right? It's like when you're so good at something, it's hard to have patience for something that comes so easy to you,
Yeah.
where it might not come easy for somebody else. I mean,
Um, and just because I'm a good fighter doesn't mean I'll be a good coach. And I know that. Once again, I kind of think of, these NFL coaches and stuff like Bill Belichick. Don't nobody remember him in the NFL, but he's a hell of a coach. You know his name now. So he was a true student of the game, and capitalized on it. And look at his legacy now. You know what I mean? I can't do that. I won't. I can't. It won't happen. Not even close.
yeah,
But I salute the guys who can do that. Because not everybody's made for that.
there's certainly, it's a skill. I mean, it's obvious too. I mean, even looking at Sanford, right? Every time I tune into a fight, there's two or three guys on the card from Sanford, and more often than not, two or three guys are winning a fight from Sanford. I mean, this last weekend, I was a hell of a performance by Derek, right? And it's just like,
And
and
yeah,
his whole
Derek.
career seems like it's taken a complete different trajectory ever since he's landed down there at that gym.
Sometimes you need a change, and apparently that's what he needed. And I'm glad he's a part of the team. Derek is, you know, when you see him fight, you underestimate him. Sometimes he just looks kind of like, he won't do much, and then bam, he'll catch you. You know what I mean? Or he'll put you on your back, take you down. So, but Derek sneaks up on people, man, and he's a hell of a fighter, hell of a man, hell of an athlete. I love him. I love him. The whole package of Derek, I think he's dope.
Mm-hmm. I want to go back to, you mentioned you never thought in a million years that you'd be in the industry that you're in right now. From a cannabis perspective, I'm assuming is kind of where you're going with that. Going through your career, did you consume during your career, even from a medicinal standpoint? And if so, I mean, how has that changed for you? And I guess even going up into the last couple weeks of this fight, does your consumption change? Like, how can you walk me through what that's like? Because I mean, it's obviously evolved a hell of a lot since you first started fighting, as far as the
Yeah.
rules.
Cannabis wasn't something I was into. I've always believed in just it was bad. Nobody. It was against the law. So I've always been afraid of getting popped with drugs of some sort. You know, how you grow up and there's dare. Keeping kids. That type of stuff. And my grandparents. It didn't matter what it was dope. You know what I mean? It could be the smallest thing. It's always dope. And just knowing what drugs, even though I don't consider cannabis a drug, I was just afraid of it because I've seen what it can do to a family, just drugs overall. So I just affiliated all of that into together in one ball. And sometimes during my career, I think probably when I hit about 31, 32, I probably smoked over that period of time 2 times, just to do it. But then once I retired, and then I was on the couch and I started hitting it a little bit. I was like, this ain't bad. I feel good. I'm lightheaded. My body feels good. I'm sleeping better. I get to relax. I just grew to love it, and I was like, this is something that helps you. It doesn't harm you. Too much of anything can harm you, but this is just the medicine of a lifetime for anybody, anybody and everybody. And I just kept doing it because it made me feel better. I would sleep better. Sometimes I would do edibles and I sleep like a rock, because I'm the type of guy that if I sleep for an hour or two and I wake up, I'm up. And I can fall asleep at 10 o'clock. I'll wake up by 12. I'm up until 4 or 5 in the morning. So it helps me sleep. But since I've been getting ready for this fight, I officially stopped smoking on my birthday, March 6th. So I haven't touched it or anything since March 6th. And I can tell the difference. Oh, just after a few days of not smoking, I can tell a difference with my lungs instantly.
See, that's interesting you say that, and like appreciate you being honest about that too, because I think a lot of times people want to dismiss something because there's net benefit. They don't want to talk on something in a negative way, so then they kind of like pretend like that shit isn't real. But you noticed a big difference, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I don't. For me, I've like in college, I know one time I smoked one time with my guys. We hotboxed at my boys, Tahoe one time, and it was like 5 or 6 of us in there. And it was like, as soon as you open up the door, you just seen this cloud of smoke just come out. And we had so much fun. And we were in great shape. You're 18, 19 years old, you're in college, you're wrestling, you're feeling like you're full of everything, full of life,
Mm-hmm.
And the next day we went in and we wrestled. And when I say that was the best I probably ever felt, all of us were like, man, I feel better. I feel like my cardio just went to another level. My lungs felt refreshed. Like we had a great time. So I like it. There's so many benefits to this stuff, but if you want to really elevate in what you're doing, as far as having to use your body, I don't recommend smoking it every single day. You can tell a difference. You will be trying to catch your air, you know what I'm saying, your breath a little bit.
So I'm going to say something, and anybody that's got like a medical background or scientific background is probably going to laugh their ass off and call me stupid. But so a couple times that I've stopped smoking, one time in particular, I was trying to pass a drug test a few years back, and I probably had stopped for 2 weeks and was doing like seriously heavy cardio. And over that 2 weeks, every time I would do the cardio, I felt like I actually was getting high, and almost as if like I was activating THC that was stored somewhere in my body. Like I was getting into some like psycho space where I felt borderline buzzed out of my mind.
Were you, I want to say maybe you had a little bit more fat on you, so maybe it was in THC was stored in your fat, but that sounds dumb.
That's kind of where I'm going, man. Like I don't know. I mean, I was and am a fairly heavy smoker, so it's possible. I mean, I've never had a whole lot of body fat, but it was like clockwork. It was like a euphoric feeling every time I get done doing cardio for like a half hour, and I was like, man, like I feel like kind of like I just got done smoking weed. But I don't know. Maybe it was just psychological, but
maybe. I wish I had an answer for you, even though you didn't ask me a question, but yeah.
trust me, that's a kind answer. People that are listening to this are going to be like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? He's high right now.
Yeah, man, this is, it can definitely help you, but too much of anything can definitely harm you. You know, you have to use this for what it's supposed to be used for. You know, you want to relax and kick back, get you a nice little hybrid. You know what I'm saying? Do that. You know, it can be sativa or indica dominant, but get you a nice little hybrid. You truly want to go to sleep, get an indica. It'll do its job. You know, if you want to have an upper, you know, get a sativa, and you know, you probably can go out and have a little bit more fun, but that buzz is going to be kind of nice too. You know, so you got to pick and choose which route you want to go.
Are you familiar with the TV show Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia?
No, is it on Netflix?
It's so it's on Vice, so the Vice network.
I watch Netflix all the time, dude. I don't even watch cable TV. Like, dude, there's so much that goes on in the real world. I get my information from Instagram, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna find a clip. I'm gonna find a clip of it. One of these nights that you wake up and can't get back to sleep, you're gonna watch it. So this dude, I won't go down the long version, but ultimately he's like a psychonaut. So he's a researcher, younger dude who explores all kinds of different psychedelic substances. So everything from THC to DMT to
I get
different
that.
types of peyote and LSD and all this stuff. And he talks about it in a sense of like scientific and how it affects the human body and kind of the benefits and detriments. It's a series. They're like little 30-minute episodes, but he dives into all even like the toad. So the people that would do the desert toad. But
I did Toad, you know. Um uh it was it was different. Super different. It's scary. If the first time you do it, it's scary, you know. The individual I did it with, you know, I'm not gonna say any names. You know, he's a well-known athlete. I'm just not that type of guy to drop names, but
sure.
we did it, and you know, all this, you know, you go into quantum realm or something like that. I don't think I went there. You know what I mean? I went far left. I was, you know, it's one of those things where you got to be comfortable with who you are. You you just have to be careful because you can go left or you can go right with it. You know, you're not going down the damn middle, that's for sure. You know, if you have some demons built up or if you have some troubles in your life, I think that'll bring it out. You know, it just depends on who you are, and how your brain is already how it's already wired. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Maybe it could be where you are in life. I just think when you do that, you got to be super comfortable with whatever results you get. And for me, it was I did it. Sorry, my dog is over here eating and choking on her food. She's something special. But I did it, dude, and I still did it wrong, and I still got like up there. You know what I mean? I was so far up there so far. I had never been that high up before. You know,
Mm.
and I did it, and probably within 10 seconds, I ran outside, threw up, and I remember leaning up against his house, and I know I had my arms locked out, you know, leaning up against his house, but it felt like I was like this, you know what I'm saying, this close to the house. And I stood there for about 2 or 3 minutes, gathered myself, and I went and sat back by the pool where we were at. And dude, I just sat there slumped over, and everything that probably was in the back of my mind that wasn't okay, things that bothered me, I think, growing up, and things that's probably still bothering me now from childhood stuff, it kind of hit me. And to me, it just wasn't the best experience. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because my brain started thinking, wrong, started going left. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Started thinking of the demons and the stuff that I had questions about whenever I was a kid. Because plain and simple, you know, my mom was a drug addict. So, and I was adopted by my grandparents, which they saved my life. And I give credit to my mom too, because she didn't have to let that happen at the same time. But whenever you, and drugs, you know, broke up my family growing up, you know. So mom was a drug addict, dad's an alcoholic. So when I did that, I had a lot of questions, and I had a lot of things that bothered me along the way growing up, and a lot of things happened along the, you know, growing up too. And whenever I did it, dude, it just, I was scared. I was scared because I'm like, man, am I gonna get hooked on this stuff? You know, knowing the fact that my mom was a drug addict, I'm like, I could easily get caught up in some shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, genetically, I can go left, or I can go really left. But thank God I went right. So whenever I did it, I had all of those thoughts in my head from, you know, my mom being on drugs. My dad, he didn't even enter my brain with the whole thing, but my mom and drugs and all that stuff just started slamming me while I was like sitting there slumped over, you know, just, I was just in another, I was someplace else that to me, it just wasn't a good spot. So I don't think I ever do that again. So whenever somebody does it, they need to make sure they are comfortable with who they are and where they are in life.
Yeah, I don't have any experience with DMT or toad or anything like that. It's certainly something that I would love to experience, but I've heard that from multiple people who've experienced it, and I've read it. I mean, I've had some pretty heavy mushroom trips where I feel like I've come out the other side of it changed in some way, shape, or form with the way that I view things. And even ways that I view myself and how I've handled past situations. Like, I don't feel like I would have ever thought about them unless I was in those states and like had the opportunity to kind of be honest with myself. And then I've retained that knowledge coming out of it. But I can certainly see where too much of that, especially if you've got some things that you haven't quite grappled with completely in the back of your mind, and then it hits you at a point in time where you don't even really have the capacity to try to fucking deal with it.
Exactly. Exactly, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what Toad did to me. And I was like, man, I don't know if I ever want to do that again. You know, I'll stick to weed overall. I'll stick to that. I can still control it, control myself. Doing Toad was just another level. And I'm fine with staying with weed. You know, it doesn't, hey, you do the other stuff, that's on you. That's what you prefer. That's your vibe. I'm with that. It's just not for me. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody be like, you want to do Toad, I'm gonna say no. If somebody say you want to smoke something, want to smoke this weed, I'll probably be like, yeah, but what kind is it? You know, that's it. So I'll take weed over Toad any day.
Now I can vouch for that, and you will, and he will ask what it is too, because you asked me the last time we were together in Texas. You're like, "What is this?"
Got to, man. You know, you just don't put your mouth on anything. You know,
Most
it was
definitely,
good though. It was good.
it
It was
was
some good
good.
stuff.
It
It was
was good.
good.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah. I think now my favorite uh, weed is amnesia. Have you had that?
I haven't.
Amnesia and cherry poison. Those two, cherry poison was, I had that from Vegas, and when I had that, I hit it one time, and I was like, oof, just one time, dude. It sent me so high up in the clouds. I left me speechless. I haven't found it since. You
Really?
know what I mean? Yeah, it was good. And then my boy Jesus the Jeweler, he's a part of, you know, Rumbletime Consultants and stuff. He worked at a grow in Vegas, and he would mix, you know, diamond and weed and everything together in a blunt at the end of the day. Everything he had left over, he would just pack it into a blunt. And when I say that man knows what he's doing, he knows what he's doing. He had me to the point where I hit that thing one time and I was like, you can have it. I don't really say that to about weed at all, but his stuff, I was like, dude, and he was fine. He was
Dude,
fine. That was his thing. But to me, I was like, dude, don't ever bring this to me again. It was that strong, and I feel like I can really hold my own. You know what I'm saying? But he he made me feel like a rookie that day, dude. So there's some good stuff out there, man. Hopefully everybody likes my product. Rumble Kush. Because I'm coming out with that, and I got to give you some too, man. And by the way, my partners want to do a collab with Aktion Coffee and Cannabis.
let's fucking do it, man. Let's do
Hey,
it.
so I need to hear. So we definitely got to have a meeting and get some stuff going, because Jesus knows how to mix and mingle with that stuff. So we all got to get on the phone, man, and make it happen.
Most definitely. I would love to. There's so much big stuff coming. I'd be remiss to not bring it up. I hate being a self promoter, but at the end of the day, when you have products in a business like we have, you gotta share it. And I think if anybody drinks coffee and you haven't tried Rumbletime Specialty Coffee, I mean, legit, like I was big on ambitious and I was never a coffee drinker. So for anybody that doesn't know, Rumble and I are partners together in Aktion Specialty Coffee, natural supplements, and we developed Rumbletime Specialty Roast, which is kind of like a mix between like a dark and a medium roast coffee, kind of the best of both worlds. Which, I mean, like I said, I was not I was an energy drink guy, and part of me feels like I have that to blame for a gut problem that I've been dealing with that's fucking wreaking all kinds of havoc on my health for the last 2 years. And actually, it's funny. I had a conversation briefly with Mike Dolce, and he kind of was like, "Look, man, all the rock stars and Red Bulls that you fucking drank, all that artificial sweetener in there at the levels that you were drinking them, quite possibly destroyed your gut flora and has caused you to
Probably.
have a lot of issues." So, trying to work through it. So, like the whole coffee thing happened at the right time, but the Rumble Time blend is like by far my favorite. We've got it in the office, and there's a couple of there's a paving company next door, and I've got people that literally come over and they're like, "Yeah, we're just coming over to grab some coffee this morning."
Yeah, I have a friend. His name is Patrick. He's a butcher for Whole Foods. He's like, dude, I'm at work at like 4 or 5 in the morning, right? So he was like, I want to try your coffee. So he ordered it. He's local, right here in Florida. He tried it and he was like, and I told him, I said, let me know what you think about it. Give me your honest opinion. I don't care if it's bad. Just give it to me. Like, I need to know, this is my product. I want to know how you feel about it. That way I can critique it, tell my guys we can make this the best product possible. The whole nine.
Mhm.
And I was serious about that. Man, he drank it and he was like, yo, he was like, I love it. And then he said, I ran out and then I ended up getting some coffee from someplace else. He said, now the coffee that I used to like makes my stomach hurt. So he was like, I gotta stick with what you have now. I said, that's because the shit that you was drinking had all those chemicals and stuff on it. Our stuff is so clean. I didn't say it was perfect. I just said it's clean.
Yeah.
It's good quality coffee. It's not that other bullshit that people are buying. And I didn't say any names or nothing like that. You know what I mean? He didn't even drop any names or anything like that. He said he had his coffee that he usually gets, and it was, some shit that is supposed to be good quality coffee.
Yep.
And he said, I can seriously tell the difference between your coffee and this other stuff, and your coffee is seriously better. When you hear that from a guy who had nothing to do with, didn't even think about getting the product until recently, and he says that out of the blue to you, it makes you feel good. It makes you want to keep pushing. It makes you proud of the product. Makes you proud of your partners, the whole overall package, man. It made me proud of everything. So I'm super happy. By the way, I told him the next bag was on us. So you got
Get us the address, and we'll make sure we hook them up with some good stuff, because I love hearing that. Right. And you nailed it, dude. It's coffee's there's a lot of people in the space, and, a lot of companies that come and go. But it's one of those things, like, everybody drinks it every single morning. And it's funny, because I remember that was similar to the conversation that we had. It was, I sent you some coffee, you drank it. I'm sure you enjoyed it, but you had the same mindset. You're like, oh, I'm out. Oh, let me run to the store and I'll go grab some coffee. And then it's just like, once you tried that first cup of the other coffee again, it's just like, oh
yeah,
shit. Like, I didn't realize how important it is. And I think the key for us is, like, trying to really vocalize the subscription, because I've been bummed out when I've had people that are like, yeah, I ran out, and then I went to order it, but I needed coffee right away, and then I was miserable for a month. So it's like, get on board, sign up for the subscription, and trying to make things as easy for people as possible. But
yeah,
dude, I love hearing that.
yeah.
It's been a big
People hit me up too. They say, yeah, man, I ran out. I had to place another order. And when I hear that alone, I'm like, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Not even from a business standpoint, because obviously we make money off of it, but the fact that they truly enjoy it, that makes me super happy.
Mhm.
'Cause our name is behind that. And I hold us to high standards. So for them to want to come back and still deal with us, to me, that makes me feel like we're just getting better and better. Our standards are getting higher and higher when it comes to the product.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't back it if it was crappy. If I was younger, I would have been like, yeah, let's do a company. I get an opportunity. Let's just do something and make some money. But now, since I'm older, I'm like, this is actually a good product. You
Well,
know what I'm saying?
aside from the fact that you're cool as fuck and we enjoy you, and you're a big coffee drinker, and like all the other reasons why we obviously love being partners with you, I said the best benefit is, I'm like, Rumble is as honest as they can possibly be, and he'll fucking tell you exactly what's on his mind. So when shit ain't working and the coffee sucks, he's gonna tell you, hey, bro, this coffee sucks, man. So I was like, we've got literally the best critic possible. Because to your point, I mean, it's funny in a way. Like, I'm joking half-heartedly, but we do live in a society where people just attach themselves to things,
Yeah.
because it's like, oh well, I got to fill that bucket. Yeah, check, awesome. And it's like, they probably didn't even try it. They probably don't even drink it. You know what I mean? So that it says something. And I think the way we're trying to go about building this brand, it's been a challenge in COVID circumstances, trying to get out, get it in front of people, get people engaged. I know you've done some meet and greets down at the Modern Rose, who carries
Yeah.
Rumbletime, as
My
well, and
boy
are opening another
Emilio
location.
loves it. Emilio loves it. Um, yeah, Emilio wants it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He loves it, man. So I think once it gets out there even more, people will see the difference. They have no choice once they try it. They'll notice. And I think out of all of my friends that have tried it, I had one that said her mom kind of got, the jitters a little bit, but I was like, your mom's like 80 years old. You know what I'm saying? So it hits different. You know what I'm saying? She has a different system than these younger cats, and middle-aged people. So, but other than that, it was 9 out of 10 was like, this is good. And I said the same thing to them. Let me know your honest opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try and tell me it's good because we're friends. Don't try and tell me it's good just because you want to be nice. Like, if it's shit, tell me it's shit. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yep.
be honest with me. I won't get mad. I want to know. So please be honest. I like beg them to be honest with me. You know what I mean? And let me know what's
Yeah.
going on. Because whose face is on the bag? Mine. So I need to know, like, tell me straight up. If it's bad, let me know, because I think it's good. And if you really feel, if the rest of the world feels like it's not that great, then we got to fix it.
That's
Because
very
we just
true.
can't go off of my opinion. We have to go off of society's opinion of it. You know what I mean? And make it work from that point on. So I'm glad that everything's going right. Joe is really doing his thing, man. Joe
It's
is doing with this one.
Yeah, he's nailed it, and I give him credit, man. I mean, the differentiator is the fact that it's small batch roasted. So it's, you think about the process of how coffee's roasted. Obviously, when you start getting to be humongous and you're filling grocery stores, the way that you create that type of scale is you got to mass roast things, but then you've got to figure out ways to save 5 cents here, 5 cents there, and it starts
Yeah.
to, it obviously you sacrifice a little bit on product and overall quality. So yeah, dude, I'm very happy, and then I know we've got some other things coming. Some folks can stay tuned and see new t-shirt that's going to be launched here in the next couple of weeks,
We're still working on it. We're still working on it,
which will be
but it's
good.
gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope.
Yes, and I know there's something else that the team wants to run by you as well as far as a new product. So I'll make sure they get in touch with Julie on that, on all that stuff. But
Listen, listen.
yeah, it's the one other thing I wanted to make sure I was like, I can't forget to ask him about this, but that mural. I log on Instagram the other day and I'm like, holy fuck, there's like a 15-foot rumble. Is that down in your neck of the woods in South
Yeah,
Florida?
it's in Fort Lauderdale, right off of Sunrise. Um, right where when I had my Bentley, it's like right behind it. You know what I mean? Um, my boy, he hit me up. He was like, "Yo, I'm in town." He's a graffiti artist. Menace, Minus, whatever his name is. That's what he calls himself. Great guy, super talented. Um, he just hit me up. He was like, "Hey, I want you to come down here. I did something for you." And he sent me a picture, and I was like, "Gotta be shitting me." Gave me the address, went to go see it, doing this on the back of a business on the wall. Part of a mural though, but it's not just me on there. There were probably, let's say, 10 other artists out there. So it started with me on the right side of the building. And as it went down, there were two guys doing jujitsu. And then it just went down. It was all combat sports going down this wall. Ended with Muhammad Ali and Bruce Lee.
He did
And
all
when
of
I
them.
say do it, no, he didn't do it. But it's every artist, every sport or
Okay.
every different painting was from a different artist. You
Awesome.
know what I
Gotcha.
mean?
Gotcha.
But he did that, dude, and he showed. I knew which picture it was. It was my boy Ryan Loco actually took the picture for Bellator, and I was retaining water for sure compared to now, because when he saw me, he was like, "Yeah, your cheeks aren't the same as it is in the picture." And I remember when I took the picture, and he took the picture in February, probably the beginning of February, and man, he was spot on. Even to the scar on my forehead, he nailed it. He nailed it, dude. So I'm very honored to have that. You know what I mean? I never once thought that I would have something like that painted up with me. And I've had people paint, or do a drawing before. You know what I mean? Which I'm grateful for that too.
Yeah.
But to be on the wall, like, that's just not something you think about. You know what I'm saying? It's going to happen to you. So I'm super, super happy about it and super grateful. So it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know how long it's going to be there, but I hope it's there for years to come.
No, that is awesome, man. I saw that and I was like, I got to make sure I ask him about that because that was so cool. And
Yeah.
and I got to say this because you just brought it up. So like, I'll you mentioned how that photo was taken. You felt like you were retaining some water. I don't know if you've seen. There's a photo online that is they picked the two perfect photos. It's you at like the peak of bodybuilding, and then it's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
photo
yeah.
of you. I think it's somebody that you brought in for wrestling, and you're like down on your knees, and it was like Anthony Johnson
Oh,
looking
yeah.
looking super trim for his Bellator debut. I mean, it looks like you're literally a fourth the size of what you were.
Well, I was. I am. You know, trying to be a bodybuilder, you know, you got to do what you got to do. Sorry, dude, my dog is
Nah, you're
this
good.
asshole over here. She's trying to eat the fence. You know what I mean? She's an asshole for no reason. But but you know, when you're doing bodybuilding, you do what you got to do.
Yep.
You get bloated. You retain water. You're a legit just jughead, meathead. You know what I mean? And things grow. And I was at that point. I was probably 260, dude, at that time, but I was solid. I was pretty solid. Maybe I may not have looked solid compared to my boy Martin Ford that was in the picture with me. He's like 6'6", 6'7", 300 pounds in muscle. You know what I mean? So, but seeing that and then seeing the picture that you're talking about when this guy went, there was a Russian cat. He said he was on the national wrestling team for Russia, which I have no idea if he was or not. You know what I mean? Because we did wrestle and it was like, you know, so I could, you know, obviously you can see the difference.
Yeah.
Now that was probably about 3 weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. And that was, I was about 221. So about from 260 down to 221, you can definitely tell the difference. And I'm glad I got it off though. I'm so glad I got it off. I feel better. I move better. I can breathe. Dude, I would be walking from, you know, my crib to the parking garage to go to my car, and I'll be huffing and puffing. I'll be sweating up a storm, dude. I was like this, loaded with vitamins and minerals. That's what I'm gonna call it, you know, sweating like a dog. Now I'm like, it's not even the same no more. So yep. I'm glad I put it like this. I'm glad that I've seen my worst too at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Once I stopped doing all that stuff, I got fat, sloppy, and I was happy with that to an extent. You know, I was really living that retired life, smoking, eating, and doing whatever I wanted to do. And sorry for the noise. This girl got her squeaky toy over here and just doing the work.
It's all part of it, man. I love it.
She's killing it over here. But, you know, I'll never get that big again. I never let myself go again. I've seen my worst. I know I'm a better individual than what I was back then. And now I'm not even like really dieting. You know what I'm saying? I'm eating clean. That's pretty much it. Just eating clean and doing what I got to do, my cardio and all of that. If I want a piece of pizza, I'll order a piece of pizza. You know what I mean? I don't care. You know, I've worked hard for that slice of pizza, you know? So I want to eat a pie, I'm going to eat a pie. But I also know I'm going to do it that one time and get right back to the program of eating clean, training hard, and staying on point. So it's not hard. All these people saying that they can't do it, they're lying. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do it, dude. And saying that they don't have time, get off your ass. Just go and walk for 30 minutes before work. You know what I mean? It's not hard. And if you can't, just change your diet. You know, get a professional chef. That's what I got.
You do have a professional chef. I gotta say, I'm envious. Every morning I wake up, I'm like, what's Julie posting on that Instagram of hers? Because I need to go see if I can maybe attempt half-ass versions of that for breakfast every once in a while.
Dude, I get so many people asking me, like, what is it? How is it made? And I'm like, I have no idea, but it's good. No idea. Don't ask me anything. And you want some recipes? Contact Julie, because I have no idea. She knows what I like. She knows what I don't like. She makes it happen. Every now and then she'll try and fool me and try and do some bullshit and put something in it. But my taste buds are, you know, I got them legendary taste buds, but you know, she can't fool me like that. So when she tries to add something and take something away or switch something around, your boy knows every single time. I'm like, the texture is off. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it doesn't taste right.
You need to have her, next time you guys make steaks, you need to have her marinate the steaks and break them down a little bit with some Rumbletime. We did some steaks and we took some. Does she do it that way? Oh, dude, I could not believe how good that was.
It's dope.
It's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. So anybody listening, y'all better step your game up and put that Rumble Time on there on your steaks.
AJ, great catching up, man.
Appreciate it, brother. It's so good to see you, man.
We've got I think we're doing an Instagram live.